Hello, hello, hello. So here we are. So this is the Amphib from yesterday. So we're going to continue working on this some, maybe do some other things. How's it going there, MCSFS Gamer, Tactical Nigerian? How's it going, Oceanic? Citrus, what's going on? Let's see, who else? Anyone else there I didn't see? There we are. How is everybody doing? So let me know if the music's too loud. So this is the Amphib started working on yesterday, so this is coming along well. So amphibious truck, let's go kind of give it a little run around, we'll see where we're at. So I repainted it end of last stream. Got a paint scheme I'm liking a little bit better here, so bunch of interior work to do. So I'm just gonna music's not too bad, I don't think. Let me know if it's too loud. And so amphibious truck, 5-speed gearbox, works pretty well, and it easily goes in and out of the water, very maneuverable. It is not tippy, it doesn't want to roll over, right into the drink, right into boat, essentially. Gets a pretty good speed on the water. So we're doing a good, let's see there, we're doing 20 plus knots, so be 9.4 times 1.94, so we're talking 18 knots, so not quite 20, but 18 knots is more than respectable here, so that's pretty good speed for an amphib. Really maneuverable in the water. Nice and fast on the land, so one of the reasons I've been wanting to build something like this is this would be cool for the career build series. It's going to be quite utilitarian, be able to take this out, do a bunch of missions. You know, if we have something that's a little bit offshore, we can go use this. If it's, you know, on land, we can use this. This is going to have a bed in it, so we can sleep in there. So kind of go out, you know, it's like a little bit of a home ship, you know, in a truck. So that would be nice. And then it comes right out of the water, no problem. So it needs to have gripped up tires. I've yet to do that. I need to take off the throttle hold, so. But as you can see there, works really well. As you can see, I can pretty much give it the beans consistently with the steering controller in there. It is very stable, and it will not roll over because it has a nice low center of gravity. No glitches at all. You know, I will XML the grip, but really I haven't XML'd anything yet, and it's working really well. So seems like it'll be a cool vehicle to be able to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm liking it. I'm digging the shape of it. Colors are good, so I'm digging it. So the cat's here screaming at me. What's up there, bud? Oh, he's bringing me his toys. So going pretty well there. Let me see where we're at here. I usually let the stream kind of run for a couple minutes as I'm getting ready. That way people can start to join. Good. Glad the music's good. All right, so functionally it's running. That's kind of the step I like to get. Functionally running. So what I think, let me see if I can drop this deck down one block. I think I can. If I can do that, I think our floor is one too high. So let's fix this. So that's actually not too shabba-labba-dabba. We can probably work with this. So let's drop the floor down one. And so this is some of our ballasting in here, so I'll reballast. What do we have? 3 battle cannons aside. So battle cannons are the most space efficient. If you look at weight blocks, for those who may not know, weight block is worth 10 weight. So 3 spaces, 1 by 3. If you get a battle cannon piece, right, which one is it? It's got to be the right one, this one. This one here is 40. So that's 40 for a 3 spot, so you're getting 10 extra for the same amount of space. So you'll see a lot of people using battle cannons. That's why. It's a little bit more space conscious. Let's see how I want to do fuel. We have anything under there that can't be touched? Yeah, the drive shaft. We can go up through the floor. So we'll be alright. So let's go ahead and grab this. Let's go down. So what I want to do is drop the floor one. That will make the cockpit feel a little less claustrophobic. Give us a little bit more headroom, and there's no reason to have that extra space down here, so we'll do that. So what we'll do here is cut that, cut this. All right. And we will go like that. And we'll get rid of symmetry for a sec. That's not what I want. I want this. And we'll do pipe. T-piece enclosed. Alright. Alright, that's good. I need to check back here. Okay, so this is perfect. We can cut and move the whole floor down. No problemo. It just feels a little bit claustrophobic. My head's sitting up, and I want a more mid-windshield, so that will help with that. So let's go ahead and grab this and this. We'll cut that, move these down one. Alright, good. And we'll delete a little bit here, so this will also help with the dash a little bit, I think, so. And we can also do this. So I like these amphibious builds to kind of mix the nautical with the land. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this section here. I might go like this. I don't know. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Might go like this. I don't know. I don't think so. We'll kind of stick with it the way it was here. See how that... That's not bad. That doesn't bother me all that much. Just do that, too. We'll figure out something here. It'll look a little bit different once it's painted, too, so... Alright, and so we'll have a recessed dash like that is good. I like that. Let's start lowering this floor, so... That'll help, I think, out. Claustrophobia will give us more space. Hopefully I can go... I think I should be able to go above the wheel there. Let's hope. Let's turn symmetry on now. Alright, so all of this is going to go down one. Alright, beautiful. The back, I might keep the back raised just a hair. So we'll see right there. But at least I want to go back to probably at least here, I would say. And we'll drop all of this down. So let's see. I should be able to go in the wheel well. Yep. Okay, good. So I'm just going to do black on these to get me through. There we go. Nice. Alright, nice, nice. Alright, good. And so this is just going to get us a little bit more headroom in there, and I think it's going to make us feel less claustrophobic. And then having multi-levels, I think, is more interesting. So I like having a little bump up in the back here. I need a bump up. Maybe. Do I really need to? Yeah, I'll keep it bumped up in the back here. So we'll do that. Gives it a little bit of texture. Plus, you know, these are kind of annoying on the sides here. Let's see what I can get to here. So that has to stay. This here I have to think about. So what I might do is, let's see. Think of how I want to set this up here. This is a problem area for me right here. I kind of want to work on this. Can't do that. That's not going to fix it how I want it. So this area here is a kind of a problem area that I want to work with. So can't really slide it forward. I could go a little bit more of an eyebrow on it, but I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to, so let's see. Could just do more window there. Let's do more window there, see how I like that. There's a 1x2. 1x2. That's not bad there. And then, yep, so that's a little bit better there. I like that better. So. Yeah, it's not gonna... It makes it a little less claustrophobic in here. Because it was getting a little bit stuffy. Come on, drag, you scum. Drag, 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 drag. Okay, it doesn't want to do. Does not want to do here. There we go. Alright, that's better, I think. Adds a little bit more texture, and it's not like it's not cutting it up as much in there. I like that, so that is good. Then what we'll probably do is go in here like that, zing. So maybe something like that. Yep, that gives a little bit of texture in there, makes it interesting. And it gets rid of some of the issues that I was having in there. Alright, good. So that is nice. Let's fix a couple blocks here, there, and there. Paint these white. Alright, so we're making progress. So here's my air. I need to fix that. I'll check chat in a second. Rocking and rolling here. There we go. Alright, so now air's replumbed. Alright, let's check the old chatteroni here. Discord, let me grab a link. Discord is in the description of every one of my videos, so if you ever need to find that, you can look in any of the descriptions of my videos, but I'll grab a link. There is a Discord for those who are asking. XML is, so we'll do an XML edit right now. So XML is the format that the files are in. So for example, let's save this. So we'll go to Amphib Landship, save. All right, now what we want to do is we want to locate where our vehicle saves are. So I have them shortcutted. So you'll go to your Stormworks folder. And let's see, let's grab display capture. So we go to Stormworks folder and we want to go to our data. And then we have vehicles. Vehicles is where our vehicles are. Right here is the Amphib Landship I'm working on. We click on that. It comes up. I'm using Notepad++. You can download that. I'm just going to get rid of some of these old ones. And so what we're going to do is we're going to XML edit. And it's called XML because if you look at the file extension, it's .xml. So it's an XML file. So you're going in the file, the XML file, and you're making changes. So, for example, if we click on there, we go Control F, that's going to bring up the search function. We want to do, actually, I need to go back to the game. So let's go back to the game. What I generally do is this. I click on my tires, and let's see. We'll do all round tires is fine. And then what I want to do is I want to go to grip. We're going to XML the grip, and I'm going to go to 99, just because it's easy to see that double digit. You could go to whatever number you want, but I go to 99 because it's really easy for me to see that in the editor or in the text file. So 0.99, that will be 0.99, 99%. All right, so now we want to save it again. Amphib Landship. And the nice thing is if you open up Notepad++, it tells you it's been modified. You just click yes, that'll bring the new one. Now we want to go in here and find what? 0.99. Find next, and there it is, 0.99. So I'm going to look at it. We have grip factor of 0.99. So we go ahead and grab that, Control-C to copy it, we're going to go to Replace, find what, we go Control-V, that's what we have there. We'll go in here, go Control-V, and I'm going to grip them up to 2, so you'd highlight that, you go 2. So now I'm changing them from 0.99. In-game, you can go up to a grip factor of 1. The devs made it so you can't grip the tires high enough. All they'd have to do is change it to a 2, and for most applications, the vehicles perform beautifully with a grip of 2. So they just don't let us grip them enough. So a lot of us will go in the file and change it to a 2 or greater, depending on what you have. My construction vehicles can be up to a 5. And so it's grip factor 0.99, grip factor to 2, and then I'm going to go to Replace All. And bingo, as you can see, it replaced every grip factor of 0.99. So making them all 0.99 like that makes it easy for me to do a replace. That's why I do it like that. Now if we go in here, we're going to want to open up the latest version of it. And now the grip is XML'd up on the tires. So if you saw, it made it up the bank, but it was a little bit slippery last time. What did I disconnect? I disconnected something here. Fuel looks good. Fuel should be good. Oh, did I not put the T-pipe in? No, T-pipe's in. The fuel's up. Did I screw up the air somewhere? That goes up there. That goes up. Here's air right here. So air goes up and over. Up right here. Okay, this is it right here. That was a problem there. There we go. So that is now correct. You can fly in the build and see it there. So it goes up and up like that. Perfect. All right. All right, so that is now fixed. So air is in there. So now with those tires gripped up, they are, we're going to slide less. So generally, 2 is kind of the accepted number that a lot of us seem to use. So if you notice, it's less claustrophobic in here now. One thing to note, let's look at the seat from... Here, I'll do it like this. If we look at the seat, you notice my head goes above the headrest. My eyes are at the top of the headrest. So you might look at this and think your eyes are going to be here and plan accordingly. Your eyes are going to be above the headrest. Now, the female character is shorter. So, like some people, if they're building tanks, something squat, they'll do that. So, that's... lowered the seat down, and that makes me feel less claustrophobic. I have more space in here. The redesign, I like that. The angles look really good back there. Restarted? Nope. So Citrus, I went ahead back and I redid the panels on the Mac Pinnacle so that I can on the chassis so that I can have better panels for my tractors. So talking to Citrus about that yesterday. So now we had. Whoop, This has no problem because, well, actually it might because the battle cannon piece I took out, but it has a good low center of gravity, so as you can see, it rights itself. And so this is self-righting. The fins will also help it right itself. And so if you remember last time, we didn't have a struggle going up the bank, but we were slipping. So now with a grip factor of 2, we should have less slipping. But you need to keep in mind, that will make it so that it will put more load in your engine. One of the ways that the game gets around, loading up your engine is the wheels will slip. So when you have a higher grip factor, you might start to realize, I need a lower gear ratio because you now have more resistance. So keep that in mind as well. So that grip factor of 2 is working well for me. Let me check some chat here. So I sent the Discord link for Tactical Hungarian. Let's see. Yep, so he always wants more food. He's a hungry boa. He's skinny, but he's not skinny. He's about normal. He's not overweight, but he's a hungry boa. Oh, thank you there, Blaze Beat. Glad you like it. Is the air pipe the right way? It is now. Yep, I usually do. Make some issues with the repiping. So that's what XML editing is. So there's a bunch of things you can do, but the XML is generally the format that a lot of games use for their game files, and all you're doing is editing the game file to make some changes. So that's all it is. So pretty simple, but it can have some good effect on the gameplay. All right, so this is good. I'm digging on the setup in here so far. Let's go brown. I've been liking a brown dash lately. And then I'll play with this side. So we're not going to go... I'm not going to start putting in gauges yet. But I am glad I dropped the floor down. Could drop it even more. The issue is just that back bump up. So I could cut it again here. Let's see. Let's cut out that. Where do we have to go to? So part of this is right where it covers the... Right there. That's the rudder. So what we can do is we can actually keep the floor low all the way up to here. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then that's where the ladder is, and there's going to be a door here. So that'll be a step up for the ladder and the door. So we'll do the step up back here. All right, good. And we'll cut the whole floor down like that. There we go. And then we'll do a little step up right here. So this will be We can't cut the rudder, so that's fine. We'll go like this. Oh, but I mean to cut all of that. There we go. Can I drop the rudder? That's the other question. I theoretically could. Let's drop the rudder. Then we should be able to do it completely flat. Yeah, that's not going to cause any problems. Alright, that will work. Yep, that's going to work fine like that. Do I drop the propeller one is a question. Can I drop the propeller one? No. Okay, so I can't drop the propeller one anyway. I could, actually. Yeah, I could drop the propeller one. Let's do that. So I need to redo my exhaust. I've been thinking about if I wanted a wet or dry exhaust. So IRL, the way boats will generally do an exhaust is either wet or dry. Wet, we'll go through dry first. Dry exhaust is what you have in a truck, or a truck or a car. Just an exhaust pipe that goes straight out. A wet exhaust, what they do is they have the exhaust manifold and they pump water in it, seawater, and the exhaust mixes with the seawater and then it goes out. And so you'll see that, like, you'll sometimes see, you know, little flappers in the back of the boat that are blubbing and sending out water. Oh, crap. That's not going to work perfectly with that. I need a pipe out for this. Do like the lower propeller, so I have to re-engineer some stuff here. So what we'll do is this. Grab this here. Cut this, and we'll move this forward one. We'll grab, I don't want to cut my engine power down. If I cut my engine power down, all I'm doing is I have to run at a higher rev. So I don't want to do that. Could make the engine more compact, but nobody's going to see this. Doesn't really matter to me. So I might compact this engine up. We'll see. Do I want to? I think I do. Let's count the cylinder heads. -1, essentially. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to count with colors here so I don't mix it up because I have to keep moving my camera. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's make it a 12 cylinder. Okay. And we'll make it a flat. Make it a flat 12. Alright. Come on. Racing stuff I don't want to. There we go. Make it a flat 12 here. And we'll kind of keep it pretty centralized. This will just make this a lot easier. So. What's that? That is air, so we'll keep that there. Alright, so the reason I need to do this is the gearbox just for the propeller. So the propeller is at a much higher ratio than the rest of the engine, so it needs to be separate and segregated. So we're going to cut that and then go... where's that going to? I don't even know. Alright, this is going to go down like that. And then we'll grab all of this gearbox here. We'll cut that. Okay. We'll merge it. And then this here will go there. And then we will do a T-piece. It can go up. So this is going to tee off to go to the wheels. Oh, that's where it was going. It's going here for the wheels. So this is going to tee off for the wheels. So I want to go, let's see. So cross. Go across here. All right. And so they're going to clean it up a little bit here. Make the engine a little bit more compact. This area you're never going to access. It doesn't really matter too much, but I kind of want it the way I want it. All right, and then this is going to go to the impeller, so we need to go across. So the impeller comes off of... The impeller could have come off of the propeller, but we can't have it go to the wheels. The wheels have to be geared by the other gearboxes. So we'll come down here, and then... that like that. Okay, good. Then we'll do a pipe. T-piece pipe here. Go into the axle. And then we will do a T-piece here. Going vertical. Bingo. So now we're replumbed for the replumb from that. Let's go ahead and move this meter here. Right here. That's just our water meter, so that works the fins. That gives us lift in the water. We don't want or need that when we're on the land, so. This is just mostly aesthetic here. You know, IRL, that would help to flow the water up to the propeller, so. Alright, so that drops the prop and the rudder down a little bit. That's good. That go there. Alright, so we're replumbed for all that. And then, so a dry exhaust, to start talking about wet and dry exhaust. So the dry exhaust, again, just goes out into the air. It just goes right out. And a wet exhaust goes through, and you would pump water in it. So, trying to decide if I want to go how I want to do the exhaust. I like having the dry exhaust, the look of it, so I might put one here. Let's do that. Could do double exhaust. I could do the air on this side. Let's do this. Where's air coming in? Let's put the, yeah, air's there. That's fine. Let's go like this. I'm going to redo the air. I don't like where it is. We'll move for the 100th time. And then let's go up here. We can actually... What's that? Exhaust. We can actually do symmetry on this. Alright. Let's go up like that. Go up one, back one more. Right there. Okay. And so again, we're kind of in the aesthetics phase here, so I want to make things... Get out of there, you. Make them look good. Or before, I didn't really care. I just wanted functional. Now I'm kind of ripping it apart and making it look good. All right, so I will XML a piece in here. So we'll go ahead, and this is going to come up. We're going to go a charcoal. Get out of there, you. Let's paint this black really quick. I don't want this showing color through because we're going to put an XML block in here, and I want to make sure it doesn't bleed through. So that's going to be charcoal going, come on, give me the block, you scumbag. Going through there. And then this is going to be the air intake here, so we have a really high snorkel on there. And then I want to do air. So I like these air heat exchangers, the way they look. So you can pass right through here. Air will go right through. You just need to make sure they're going the right way. So that's air in. It's going to go this way, flowing this way for us. I need to flip the other side because that's exhaust. But there we go. Air out. That's wrong. So this should be air in. And I'll have to fix the other side anyway. Alright, so this should be air in. And then if we air in. Alright, good. And then what I want to do is take this. We'll copy that. We'll flip it because the other side is going to be the exhaust. So it has to be facing, it has to be pushing out. So it's just flipped. And then that will go there. Alright. And so we'll do an air intake on one side and exhaust on the other. And I'll fix the other side. I'm just kind of... There we go. So nice high snorkel on this. And then we'll get rid of symmetry here. And we'll cut this to be... I like doing these RAM outlets. That's my exhaust. So that's kind of... Give it a little bit of flair there. Some more detailing with functional parts. Now let's undo that. Let's get symmetry up. Alright, nice. So that's a little bit more interesting looking, I think. Having some air exhaust there. Then what I want to do is I've already XML'd this block. So, so I have a 3x wedge here, wedge 3. And so I'll actually do it so that people can see. So let me save this really quick. I'll save it over this version. All right, so we'll XML a block here. And so take a wedge and orient it. Delete this. All right, so we'll save it as wedge 3 wide. So some people are interested about XML. So wedge 3 wide. We'll go ahead and we will open up our XML folder, our vehicle folder again. Click on wedge 3 wide. All right, next thing we want to do in here is look for this right here. So there's only one block there. It's wedge, all right? And so actually before we do that, let's do this. So one of the reasons I'm doing this like this is for painting purposes. These are harder to paint later. So what I do is I'll do replace all, and that is painted the same color on all sides. That will save me some headache trying to get this painted correctly. If it has a little bit of white, it's going to shine through. Yeah, I'll get to them in a second. Thanks, Citrus. So that's good. So I'm going to save this again. All right, so now it's that color. And then if we open it up, as you see, it tells me to update. So that what we can do here is play with this. We'll just change a value. One of these ones. So one is in all the axes, and then these are some other axes that will allow it to warp out of its shape. But if we take, for example, let's try this one. 3. I want it 3 wide. So we'll save it, and then we'll open it back up in game. Oh, that's not the one. There it is right there. Wedge 3 wide. Oh, the wrong way. So that's the famous 1x3 wedge everybody's asking for that, you know, the devs have yet to put in. That's how you do that. Come back in here. Okay, it's not that one. And you can just do a trial and error. You know, you can look at Strunner's tool, but you have to align it properly anyway. Sometimes it's faster just to come in here, and you'll get it, you know. So, oh, the wrong way. So I knew it was the -1 because I have the block turned sideways. That's a trick you can do, turn it sideways, but I just wanted, people were asking what it was, so showing them how to do it. So that, as you can see, it wedged it the other way. And then here, if it's a negative, you have to stay negative, so -3, and that should do it. So let's go in there, and we'll load it. Bingo. So now, as you can see, it's 3 wide. We can grab it or import it. I'm just going to grab it. Copy it. All right, we'll load up our truck. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I want that pipe to stick through this block. And so the way this works is when you're XMLing it, the collision stays the same. It still has the same collision as one of these blocks. All you're doing is stretching it. You're not stretching the collision. And so these have no collision on the sides. And each one unit you add, so if I went to 2, the block would be 1 block, 50% on this side, 50% on this side. So by going 3, I'm getting a full 1 on this side and a full 1 on this side. So that's why even shapes, you really can't do even numbers. You have to stick with odds. So we'll slide this in here, and now as you can see, it hides the pipe. So there's no collision where that pipe is. There's no collision over this block. I could get rid of that block too if I wanted. We'll paste that, rotate it, and we'll come over here. All right, now when you merge this, you have to click on the collision, so right here. So click there, bingo. Click on the collision, bingo. And we'll actually delete this one off just so that it's not shining through. But now, as you can see, that looks flush like we are going through the block. So that's how you XML a block. Let me quickly check Discord. Somebody's asking a question about the challenge that was not supposed to start till tomorrow. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know. The rules didn't seem that confusing to me, but I will quote things. All right. So they're not asked in the correct spot either. So if you're in the challenge, please ask for rule clarifications in Foxtrot rules discussion, because then other people can go in there. Any post that is not about the rules discussion in Foxtrot rules discussion, I delete. That way, if a player has the same question, they can search there and they get their answer. If you put it in challenge build discussion, that's for you guys just to talk amongst yourselves. It makes it so that it makes so that nobody can find it. So, they're not going to read through 200 posts to find it. The Foxtrot rules clarification has the, it's much smaller. Let me see. Copy message link. All right, I'm just fixing this really quick for the build challenge. So, all right, who asked that question? Baffy J 38. Okay. Damn it. All right, I gotta fix this too. Let's go back in there. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get this. People are trying to do their builds. Again, I had no intention of starting this early, but I also didn't want to have to change the build because everybody started early, so it's a little bit frustrating to me that I'm having to rush to get all this stuff because challenge started early. Or people were starting early, so... Alright, good. Sorry about that. I'm back. Alright, so yeah, just answering some questions about the challenge. Let me check some chat here while we're sitting. Yeah, I got them figured out. Blaze Beat, usually the first, couple days, that's why, if you notice the way I build, I started this Amphib yesterday, and it was an absolute disaster zone. Not an absolute disaster zone, but it was, the first thing it didn't look good. So the first thing I did was made sure it worked. Once it works, you can then, for example, that if you're 90% of the way there, it works. Then okay, I can probably change 10% of it for visual reasons, and it will still work. If you do something visual that looks great, and then try to make it work right, I find it to be a nightmare because you start getting attached to the looks of it. And then when you have to change the looks of it, it's frustrating. And often you'll find that what looks good doesn't necessarily function well. And so I kind of go function, and then I do the way it looks after that. I find that to be a better system. All right, where was? Let me finish some chat here. What do you mean? Well, if you make an airboat, will it just fly away? I've never seen an airboat landing craft. There are hovercraft. I've already okayed that you can use, if you want to use propulsion from an airboat. But if it flies, it's going to violate the spirit of the challenge, and it's going to not do well. So, let's look at, I'll bring up the rules again. So I did further clarification. Again, my intention was not to launch this challenge until tomorrow. And people started building early. This is why that is very frustrating to me, is I had yet to even come up with rules, and people are already frustrated that their builds aren't going to work anymore. Well, hey, you started early. So I put in a bunch of posts earlier today because a lot of people are trying to make ferries. This is not a ferry. This is a landing craft. So you can go on Wikipedia, read what a landing craft is. These are some examples of landing craft, right? So, I would highly recommend that you follow the spirit of the challenge. If I think you're going around the spirit of the challenge and trying to make something that doesn't conform to it, it's not fair to your competitors. It is not part of the challenge. For example, Jersey used to get people making flying things in a boat challenge, and guess what? That's not what the spirit of the challenge is. You're going to get disqualified. So, follow the rules. You know, it's a challenge for a reason. It has a money limit. It has a what it's supposed to be limit. You know, so I would highly recommend you make it what it's supposed to be, and you're gonna find it works a lot better than trying to skirt the rules. I have very little patience for skirting the rules. You know, the rules are there not only for me, but they're there for your fellow competitors. It's not fair to a fellow competitor when somebody bends or breaks a rule and they stuck to the rules. And then what you get is a society where everybody wants to bend and break the rules because, you know, that's the only way to get ahead or win. And so very much against that, you know. And I have a little patience for if people are trying to bend or break the rules. So let's not do that. Let's conform to the rules, please. Alright, so let's go in here. Let's fix this up here. Let's see. Try to get this rudder to look good there. Let's see how I want to do this. So yeah, that gives me that flat floor. Get out of here. I hate color swap. Go. Alright, good. So this will give it a little more texture too. Give me a little bit of texture there, so I like that. That could actually come back one. These little areas here come back one, and they'd align there, which would actually look better. I think I'm going to do that. So we'll screw with this in a second here. Yeah, coming back to here, so that was actually, that's coming back too. So this channels the water toward the props. That's, see this on a bunch of real stuff. Now, where is it? Right there. That's there, I think. Yep, so that alignment's better. I like that. Okay, good. Yeah, there used to be a bunch of challenges where people were always, you know, bending the rules, and it would end up with, you know, other competitors being at a disadvantage because they didn't bend the rules, and that's not fair. So I tend to be pretty strict on that because of that. You know, I used to participate in a lot of challenges. That's why that's where I've come up with a lot of the rule sets I use. Is after participating in quite a few challenges, you start to learn where people are going to try to bend rules, and it's not fair to the other competitors. You know, if you say, well, it didn't exactly say that, so I went around the rules, it was still, you know, it didn't break the rules, you know, it's bending the rules. You know, everybody knows what you're doing. You know, it's not, you know, you think you're being tricky, you're not. It's just, and it hurts your fellow competitors, it's not fair, you know, and you know, I have little patience for that because, you know, you have people who come in, they have limited amount of time to play, and they're working hard in their build, and somebody comes along and bends a rule. It's not fair to all the other people who are following the rules. You know, so that's why I've come up with some of the things I do on these, is to try to not have that issue come up where everybody feels that things are fair and they're not at a disadvantage by actually trying to do what the build challenge is supposed to be about. Let's see, that, like that. I like that. That looks pretty good. It's tough to see in white sometimes. So I'm digging that. That looks better. Yeah, lines up now better, so that's good. I like that. It gives it some shape. Funnels to the propeller. You know, you don't have to worry about that in game, of course, but in real life, you'd want to funnel that water to the propeller so it can actually get a good bite of water and not just cavitate and blow bubbles all day long. Oh, I did that. I need to do that. Let's keep those fins black. Nice. Don't like it. This little bit of shaping down here is nice. There we go. That's looking good. That's supposed to be black. There's black there. Check in chat in a second. I'm just rocking and rolling here. Ah, you suck, dude. This is color swap for you. I loathe it to the greatest extent possible. I really hate color swaps so bad. It's the worst. Alright, symmetry's on. Let's repaint what we had before. That got repainted. That's not bad. That's not too bad. We'll see if it shimmers. If it shimmers, I'll just grab and repaint that that wedge. The color replaced it. Gotta get in here. Go. All right, nice. Good. That fixed that issue. Alright, so let's see where we're at. I'm gonna check some chat again. Yeah, I like Sooty in the corner there. Especially his blinking eyes are good. It gives it a little bit of life. Yeah, that's, I don't mind if they put it in. The benefit of putting in a 1x1 block is this. For example, I have a right here. If I had a 1x3 block right here, 1, 2, 3, right there, that 1x3 wedge would fit in this spot here, and it would have a collision. The issue is this: you can still go back and XML yourself a 1x3 that doesn't have a collision if you didn't want it to have a collision. So you can always change it where the block doesn't have a collision. But we can't put a collision in, so it would be nice for them to add it just so that we could have a block with a collision. That would be kind of nice. I think you were 2. I've disqualified 2. One was for my second challenge. It was the land challenge. It very clearly stated you were supposed to have, I think, like 4 seats, and they had 16 seats. And so it, that, and then yours had a glitch that it wasn't supposed to have, and that's it. I hate disqualifying the builds. That's one of the reasons I put in Spirit of the Challenge is. Some people will gripe about Spirit of the Challenge being in there because they kind of, no, it limits us, it doesn't limit you. It's, the whole thing of it is, it allows me that if you, say, violate the Spirit of the Challenge, like, by a little bit, like, so, for example, I get a big controversy. I ended up booting the 2 of them out of Discord because, not that they were doing what they were doing, but because I asked them to come talk to me about it, and they wouldn't. And then they kept wanting to come and stir up problems. And so what they were doing was, again, talking about something not being fair to the competitors. you know, I had a very clear rule in there of how big the builds could be, and it was very much on purpose, because one of the grading criteria was capacity. And if you have a capacity limit and you have a build limit, it sets a maximum capacity. Well, what they did was they were cheating to get around the capacity limit. Now, it would have been perfectly, you know, fine, I think, to disqualify them, but I didn't want to. So what did I do? I was going to dock them a point for violating Spirit of the Challenge. Well, that was, you know, they didn't want to be docked at all. And so they started a big thing about it, and finally they were, you know, they were told that, you know, they're going to lose a point, and they didn't want to lose a point. And so, you know, what I should have done right off the bat is disqualify them because they were hurting other competitors. But I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and just dock them a point, and they, and that was too much for them, and they made a big deal about it. So, you know, now I'm a little less easy going on that. It's not fair to the fellow competitors, and, you know, I'm not, like I said, I don't like bending the rules. You know, the rules are there for your competitors to be on an even playing field, and if you can't, you know, play a game without, or have a challenge without bending the rules, then, you know, I don't know what the deal is with that. You know, so those are the only times I've disqualified, and I actually didn't even disqualify those people. They just left because, again, losing a point was so bad to them that they couldn't take it, so they had to leave. You know, they completely were violating a rule of the challenge, and I was willing to dock them a point, and that was too much for them. So probably best to not have them there anyway. So. What are you doing? You're making a plane powered by a big plane in the back for what? Just to build? Oceanic? Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is it's a challenge because there are rules. You know, if there were no rules, it's not a challenge. It's just, hey, build something, I'll look at it. You know, eventually I'm going to start up the review channel again. That's what the review challenge is. You build something, I look at it. You know, a challenge is, you build me this. Like, let's talk about Big Man's Challenge. Big Man's Challenge, I think was great the way he set it up. You know, he had it so that, you know, you have to build a small car with a 3-cylinder engine, and because of how, and you have to have 4 seats, and it has to have a hatch. And because of this, it made it very compact. And so, like, if I bring up my Big Man Challenge car, this was a lot of fun because it was an actual challenge. So if you look at my engine bay, that is my engine bay. Like, look at how compact this is. I had to do a bunch of XML cosmetic stuff to get things to look right. Like, it is tough to route stuff. You know, room is room is really hard to find in here. Like, I can't even put a weight block in here, you know. And so it's super, super compact. And because that's what the challenge was, now I have to hide microcontrollers. I have stuff hidden back, or stuff packed back here. I have to very much worry about the weight. You know, this is 1 block shorter than it could be, and I think it's about 1 block narrower. But, you know, because this was compact and it had those rules, it was more fun and challenging, and you had to come up with interesting engineering solutions to make it work. If Big Man was like, build me a race car, that would be boring, you know. You know, and there were some rules I didn't like, but guess what? You know, too bad. It's not my challenge, you know. And so, for example, I didn't like the fact that Big Man had it so you could add electric motors. I don't see what the point of that is, unless people can't figure out how to start their engine without an electric motor. I don't know why people still do that, but they do. But, you know, that's one of the rules. So I'm not going to complain about it, you know. If Big Man had an open rules discussion, I might say, do we really need those electric motors or not? Or why do we have those? You know, might discuss them. But again, at the end of the day, it's his challenge. He made the rules, and everybody's conforming to the same rule set. Anyone who's working outside of the rule set, well, guess what? you're not conforming to the challenge. It's not fair to the rest of us. You know, it'd be like if somebody came in there and they put in a 6-cylinder engine in there. You know, it wouldn't be fair to all of us who followed the rules and put a 3-cylinder in like the rules stated. So that's the benefit of the rules, is the rules gives you a you know, a clear and concise you know, playing field for everyone to kind of adapt to. And that's the fun of a challenge, is we're all making the same thing within the same rule set, and we all have to behave ourselves and get it done, you know. And that's essentially what it's all about. One thing I was thinking is raising this line up. I don't know. Go brown around the front. I don't know. Kind of gets lost in the bumper here. I might raise... I don't know if I want to raise it up or not. It's going to be hard. I'd have to step it back, but it's not the end of the world. Can I step it back? I'd have to grab this chunk here and move it back. I don't know. I won't worry about that right now. I want to get this interior going. But yeah, that's... It should fly smoothly if it's just a regular boat with a pusher prop on it. Or a regular boat. Plane with a push prop in it. Yeah, I didn't know, Citrus, it was you. I was scouring the top 5 trying to figure out something. I now know what that is, but I wasn't initially familiar with what that was, and it makes sense, you know, that he wouldn't want to do that, you know, because you have to be careful with YouTube, is you know, because especially these challenges are a lot of time, you know, and they rarely get the views to justify the time. It's more of a hobby and it's fun. But the issue is, you know, if YouTube yanks the monetization on you, it sucks because they yanked it. So then you have the choice: do I cut that part of my video out? So like, say he reviewed the build, and you know, YouTube wanted to cut monetization, or like a bunch of advertisers get pulled. Well, you just cost that person money because, you know, you did something on there, and so it's, you know, it's understandable, you know, but it's, let's see, let's do the back door. I want to get that done. So we need to do a ceiling door. One of the reasons I don't do a lot of these ceiling doors is the corners are pretty big, so you have to really plan for these. So where are we at here? There it is, right here. So we need door frame corners, and they're 3x, so they're pretty large and in charge, Marge. So I need to see where these are going to sit. So our door can be, our guy can go through a 2-wide door. I like to do a 3-wide probably. So let's see if I can get them in there. I need to find where my sensor is. I think it's right. Oh, I deleted out a physics sensor. I need to fix it later. Right, so let's see. It's going to be this footprint. And then we need... I need to see what I'm cutting when I do this. So that's going to go like this door. So, like, see, I can't trespass into this ladder. So right here is the footprint of this door. So it's going to be right there. Now let's see, what am I cutting? Anything? I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I planned it. Oh, I need to go down one. Okay. Yep, so that's not going to work there. So we'll go up one on the door. Like that. That's actually where we want it. Are we up one too high on this? No, we're alright. The bumper's one higher, so that's not the end of the world. That will go like that. Okay, and then we want to rotate and go up. I want to go as high as I can, so I'm going to cut out a piece there, so we want to go there. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 high. So that is, guy will crouch, but he'll get out. Okay, actually, yep, that's fine. Right. So I want this to be a ceiling. Hinge. Hinge is going to be a problem with the ladder. I can make it work, though. So, actually, I think we're all right. Let me check. Where's the hinge? Door hinge. Robotic door hinge. Okay. I think we're good on the hinge. Yeah, we're, no, we're not. Okay, it has to go over here. That's fine. I can redo this ladder. So redo the ladder here. As long as you have 2 ladder segments, you're good, so we'll be fine. Yeah, so as long as we have these two segments up there, we are good for that, so. Looks a little funky, but, yeah, we'll be fine. That, alright. And I'll start putting in some more segments here. So I need the controller to seal the door. So here's my door sealer right here, door frame controller. That will go opposite the hinge there. Okay, and then we'll start putting these in. But yeah, that's what I love about the challenge is it's like, part of it is like, you often will build something you'd never build before because, you know, you might say, oh, well, you know, I like to have all these screens and everything else, and you're like, oh, I can't financially afford to put those screens in this challenge, and so you have to build it a little bit differently than you normally would. And that's part of the thing is, you know, getting out of your comfort zone. I love the part of the challenge, getting out of your comfort zone. Like, I'm pretty good at building some really compact stuff, but that big man challenge was getting really challenging, as the name would suggest, because, you know, you really had to worry about the scale of your parts, and you couldn't put in certain things, and because you couldn't put in certain things, you know, you had to... Oh, I put this backwards. Let me flip this. Is this gonna work now that this flips backwards? Yes, perfect. Okay. I did want the door going out. That was important to me, so there we go. It didn't look right for a second there. But that's what I love about the challenge. I used to do jerseys all the time. It's a lot of fun to kind of have to go to, you know, somebody else kind of dictating the way something's gonna have to be built and the rules and putting in some constraints. Those make good challenges. And that's kind of how I try to form mine. Is you want good restrictions. Restrictions, you know, make you have to engineer solutions. You know, you're engineering solutions to problems, and so you need some problems in there to see how people can cleverly come up with solutions. You know, it's like one of them is money. You know, like I know Jersey had done some challenges. They were like 15 grand starter boat. Well, why do you need a 15 grand starter boat? You know, why can't it be unlimited money? Because guess what? You get in a career game to start 20 grand. So you need 15 grand. You need like 5 extra grand cash, or else you're gonna be out of money soon. So you have a little money limitation on there. It helps you to you know, solidify what do I really need, what do I not need. It's like a budget in any sort of engineering project. Yeah, of course, you'd love to add, you know, 10 more engines to this jet, you know, make it go super duper fast. But guess what? You don't have the money for it, so you have to make one engine in there, you know. So that's kind of the fun of it. All right, let's get this going. Bingo. All right, you. And what do I want here? This green. I can't color that hinge corner, I don't think. I can color the top of this, though. Here, let's color this. Alright, and then I can color there. And then here I can't color. Okay, that's fine. Right. There we go. Alright, so there's a door in there. Let's make sure all the parts are merged up the way they need to be. Bingo. Alright, banga bonga. So that is our door. Nice. Let's do a stair. I'll check chat in a second. I've been kind of rocking and rolling here. So, all right, there's our door. So I have a little bit of a rear door, so we don't have to crawl up into the hatch when we're on land. The hatch will be for sea, and this will be for land. We lost some ladder, but as long as we have 2 blocks, we can climb up that. So, check some chat. Yep, that's it. I won't mention it. If people want to read, they can read. Yep, like stuff like me putting stuff backwards. Generally, I'm just trying to space things out. Then once I kind of realize it's gonna fit, then I look more carefully. So I don't always look at it really carefully the first time through. I kind of wait, and then once I see how it is, I'm like, okay, I need to flip that or whatnot. So let's see. Let's get a little color in the interior. I don't want to do it. I was gonna do. I'm really fighting the urge to use the bucket. I hate the bucket. So let's go. Let's see. Let's go. I want a little darker in here. Let's see where we're at here. So let's do 71. Let's do 40. So I'm just trying to get these colors darker. Yeah, would that be 65? Okay. We'll see if this is too dark or if this is okay. We don't know until we get it in the game. Like, the editor looks different than in game, so you kind of have to get it in there to see what it's going to look like. Symmetry, though, I would love to have had on. And I'm probably going to put a door to the cockpit, so... Kind of, you know, segmenting the rooms, I think, gives it some... gives it a better feel than having it completely open. Alright. That's pretty good there. What I could do is this. I'm going to do this. Cut you, move you forward 1. I think this is going to look better, and it's going to function better after this is here. Oh, they're outside, all of them, okay. Yeah, I think this looks better. It gives it a little bit more interest. Little good bit of detail there instead of being flush mounted. A little depth with the little gap in there. And we won't know what this color looks like, but since I didn't pull it off of the paint wheel here, I made it. That actually might be the exact same color as outside. Let's do this. I might have made that. Nope. Okay, good. So I did make these different. This one, for some reason, is backwards. So I want to make sure it's a different color than this, because what's going to happen is I can't color swap it then. So if I... Oh, you suck so bad. So I can't color swap it if I do that. So if you just make it one value off, you can then color swap it, and you don't color swap the other area you don't want to screw up. So little tipperoni. Okay, let's go up. So I'm kind of like beigey colors. Looking good. Dark beige here. Alright, that's coming along, and then let's see, what do we want up here? Let's try this color. I'll pull it off by a little bit there. See how this turns out here. Yeah, for example, one thing that you couldn't really do that. They would need to make a bunch of different colors. I had a thought, but it wasn't going to work. Symmetry now. Yeah, so the contours look a little weird in the editor on the roof, but when you get in game, they fit up. They fit in, look really nice. So kind of have to test that out in the world, see how the light's going to hit it, see how the contours will look, see if they're casting shadows or not casting shadows. That's all part of it. But kind of has that camper feel, you know, that motorhome feel of, like, you know, it has different roof levels as you get a little bit more in there. Let's see how the colors look in there. I'm just going to check some chat. Yeah, I'm gonna do a door microcontroller here in a minute. Yeah, usually IRL, the plane doors are pretty leaky because they need the pressure of the air pressure to be able to seal it. So that's better. This ladder's better. Gives a little step up there. Good. Alright, nice. Let's see how I've meant to look inside. I didn't really do it. I want to see what how this color strikes me. I like this. This is kind of cozy. A little bit lighter ceiling. Keeps the light up. The contouring looks good in there with the shadow. I like this color. This color works for me. Right, good. Good, good. This is a pain. Some of the portholes, if you don't install the porthole right, it will it'll color the wrong side. So that's why I had to grab them and flip them. Let's see. I want probably go here, and I will brighten this by, let's say, 1. Just again, so I can color swap it. And I don't do the bucket because I don't want to paint the whole plane. I just want to paint where I want it because I spend more time out there fixing bucketing issues that bucket something below it or on the same plane that I don't want. Like, for example, if these lights are at the same plane as the floor, it will paint that, and then I have to go back and fix it. So I find it easier just to hand paint it and know that I have it right the first time than to have to screw around. It doesn't take all that much time. It's just takes a little bit of time, and then you know you have it right the first time. You don't have to screw with it. Bingo. All right, that is good. Want appear to be a little bit of a different color, so let's go gray, and then we'll make me go 65 on that. Oh, what the hell is that pink nonsense? Let's go up all of them. Let's go 65. What was that, 50? They're all 150s? They're all 150s. Okay, 165s. Sometimes I wish you could type them in, because that would save a little bit of effort. So. Gotta use the color to differentiate between the front and the rear sections. Not good, and then we'll take go. And so that's coming along. Let's check some chat. Alright, let's go ahead and let's get this something. So this needs to be fixed over here. That side didn't get fixed. Let's cut this. Alright, let's make sure we hook up exhaust. Exhaust has been yet to hooked up, and then we'll go to start it, and it will have been so long that I will have forgotten, so. I need to build the engine again. The engine needs to be built. Alright, so let's do that. So, I want a 12-cylinder here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do a flat 12. Hell are you there, guy? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So this is not an enormous engine for this size of a vehicle. It's pretty reasonable, actually. So. Pretty. It's actually a little, maybe not small, but it's not unreasonable. This engine. You know, for example, the Mud Skipper has a flat 10 in it, so this has a flat 12. The Vice car has a flat 12 in it, so it has the same size engine as the Vice car. Yeah, so pretty compact. Alright, just need to switch these up so this pump will go where the starter is. Not a big deal. Yep. Forward please, forward please. Oh, Alright, there we go. Now we'll put a radiator in here somewhere. We're not revving super high. I doubt we have any issue with cooling on this, so that's good. Exhaust is going to be... See where the exhaust is coming out here. Right there. Okay. So let's cut you, and what are you there? Right there, guys. So let's go... Let's go... Let's try 2 cats. See if that gets my smoke down enough. 2 cats. And what are you, guy? You are the air intake. That's the air manifold there. Okay. So, let's see. Could just come up from the middle too with the engine, but I don't need to. Torque there. Am I still on symmetry? I am. Let's go. Let's see, where are we? That is fluid out. Okay, that's fine. Fluid out. Okay, let's do this. Just trying to get this kind of streamlined how I want it. There we go. Make sure that's still torque. Should be torque. Let's merge it and then I can check it. Yep, torque. Okay. Get out of there, you. I didn't mean to delete you. Go. Okay. And that's going to be fluid out. So what we want to do here is... Okay. Alright, so that's reconnected. A little bit better setup there. Alright, so there's our supercharged air. Get rid of kind of a bunch of this crap here. There we go. Alright, good. That's done. Oh, nice. A little outboard. That's cool. It's nice seeing outboard every once in a while. I could make these hip tanks and put a lot more fuel in here. I might do that. I think. Stick with what we have for now. I can always change them up. Maybe a flow nightmare. Alright, engine's reconnected. Let's get that plumbed in. Most of it's still plumbed in. We lost RPS. And what else did we lose? Starter? Nope. Radiator. I don't have an active radiator, so we'll see. I might add it. We might not need it. We'll do a test, see if I need it or not. And a braking system on here. I don't yet, so that'll be part of a controller we need to put in. Okay, go. Okay. Good. Could do, here. We'll do this. What do I have? Do I have a panel in? I don't. Okay. So, let's do a stress test on this for temp. So, let's see. I'm gonna check the temp on this sucker. Cooling should be fine, but we'll see if it is. I bet it is, but we'll see. So the easiest place to stress test this, probably in the water, just because it's gonna, I'm gonna have the engine constantly revved up. And you need to go there. Okay. Physics sensor I deleted, I need to fix that. So that needs to be right around the height of the propeller. So what we'll do is, no, it was above the propeller. I want it right at the bumper. Let's go right here. It was fine, so. Alright, what's here? Perfect, right here, I think. It's gonna be where it is. See if that caused me problems. Does that stick through? It does not. Yay! Okay, good. That's under a double layer of floor, so yeah, that's under a double layer of floor, so it's not going to stick through. Amphibious truck there, also. I need to put the ballast back in. You notice it's leaning a little bit. That's because the ballast isn't in there, so it's a hair top heavy. But putting the ballast back in will fix it. Alright, so we're at 31 degrees. That cooling pump should be hooked up, but it won't come on until 115 degrees, something like that. So at 115 degrees, it will cycle water, so not before. I want to get the temp of my engine up. No, it doesn't bother. I don't think I'll have any issues with this. I've run a bunch of engines. This is my favorite radiator to run. I don't like the electrics because I'm a contrarian. But I've had a bunch like this, so if I do have any cooling issue, I can... One of the reasons, too, I like to go to this radiator, if this radiator cools the engine fine, I still can go to a 3x3 electric, which will give me more cooling. And I can then go to a 5x5 if I still need more cooling. And so by using this radiator, if this radiator works, I know that, you know, one, I'm good, I'm done. But if I'm not, I have a way to go up. And so that gives me the opportunity to quickly be like, okay, this doesn't work, I'll just go to a 3x3, it's the same footprint, done, probably work. Okay, that didn't work, okay, I'll go to 5x5. I could do something like in-water cooling, but I should be able to air cool this sucker. It's running at 25 RPS, you know, a little bit on the high end, but I doubt it's running 25 RPS right now. I bet there's enough resistance in the propeller, because this is a pretty high gear ratio that it's running lower than that. So, like, the cooling system hasn't even turned on yet. So it waits till it gets hot, and then it's going to turn on. So it's nice and stable. Again, I'm going to put in, like you see me jumping around, it's pretty stable. I'm going to put in more of that ballast. I took out, what was that? 240 weight. So yeah, I took out 240 weight. So I'm going to put 240 weight in again. So that's going to help it even more. So yep, 77 degrees now. So you see, it's not blistering fast, but I don't want it to be blistering fast, you know. I don't want this thing to be unrealistic. I want it to be reasonable, you know. And so I'm kind of happy with it the way it is, you know, or the speed. So actually, look, if you look, when we're underway, that back door is out of the water. You know, not that we'd go out that door, but that door is just designed for when we're, you know, on the land anyway. Now I'll put a little two-step ladder on that side as well, probably. I don't know, I say a fold-down ladder could be interesting, but I don't know if I'll do that or not. I might do a handle, just a handle inside, and you have to, like, grab and pull yourself up. We'll see. I would love them to do some ladders. Some really thin ladders would be freaking great. They have them in-game already. Yeah, so somebody made a good point. I've said this about the devs for a while there, is you know, there are some small, low-hanging fruit things they could do that would please the crowd, and they're probably not all that hard. Like, again, add the 1x3 wedge, give us a couple more window blocks. You know, the devs know people are pissed off with the all these animal updates that they quote-unquote say nobody asked for. One, it's the devs' game, they're going to build what they want, but the devs know what parts we want. If they had said, hey, we're introducing the Gila monster, the tortoise, and I can't remember what the last one, I think it was just those two. We're introducing the last animal updates, the Gila monster and tortoise, and we're also putting in a 1x3 wedge. Like, the people who are disappointed about the Gila monster and the tortoise would probably be happy about the 1x3 wedge, so they said, yeah, I don't care about the animals, but I'm glad I got a wedge. You know, and it'd be like, you know, oh, I didn't like the Gila monster or the tortoise, but, you know, I got a new window piece that I've been looking forward to, you know. So that's kind of the thing is, you know, the devs could do that, and they would cut down a lot of criticism, I think, by doing that. Now, again, I think they have things well planned out. Does that mean that's correctly planned out? Not necessarily, but for example, maybe this new DLC is not fishing. Maybe this new DLC is just a decorations pack, a decorations update, and they have new wedges, new windows. Now, I don't think they'll do that, because the way they tend to do this game is, even if it's a DLC like weapons DLC, they let us have the weapons for decoration even if you don't buy the DLC. And so it would not make sense to me for them to do... Did that really light off at 115? It did. Why is it not at 120? Why do some of my engines light off at 115 and some light off at 120? That's what I want to know. That's 100. Yep, so that's not enough. Let's make sure it's connected. Let's see. Cooling pump clutch right here. Okay, so that was working. Let me just double check it. Should be good. But that's not going to be enough cooling. Part of it is that's in an enclosed volume that, where that radiator is. That's not the best. So it probably doesn't have as good a cooling as it needs. Let's see where we're at here for the cooling system. So that cooling system is not going to cut it. Variable brakes is fine there. Pump clutch right here. So if... Okay, that's just going to 1 on the pump clutch. So cooling temperature, if temperature greater than that. Yep. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and we'll add a radiator in there, see if that works. So again, that's why I use that one, is it makes it so that it's pretty easy for me to upscale it if I need to. The other thing is, it gets more effectiveness outside. The issue is this. If I was thinking it would be kind of cool to put a radiator up top, like this, and then plumb it in. The issue is that is a long way to plumb. And so I have to run piping, and then that means I'm going to have big pumps to be able to pump it all the way up there, where doing it this way, I can keep it close. And I don't need a lot of pumping, because I like using that belt-driven pump. Alright, so we're going to go like this. Cut you. You shall go in here. Bing, bing, bing. Alright, and what we'll do is we'll hook up the radiator to the radiator node. And then one thing I want to do here is I want to go right there. That will let me see the pump clutch. We'll go like that. Alright. Go test it again. So that's probably having issues because it is sitting inside of the vehicle. I could put it in the bottom. I don't want to put it in the bottom, because it will cool if it's inside the vehicle, but not as effectively if it's outside. And I wonder if the radiator gets ambiently heated by the engine, and so that's one of the benefits of having it away from the engine, is it won't get ambiently heated. So we'll see. So that is a more effective cooling method now, so we'll wait for that to climb up. Yeah, I for some reason thought it was 120 sometimes, but I've had engines that run at 115 and they haven't popped, but I don't know what that's about. So it probably is 115. Like I literally have a couple of my builds that the cooling doesn't go off until 115. And it goes gently above 115 and back down, and it keeps them from popping. So I don't know. Maybe they have to be at 115 for like say 3 seconds, and my systems knock it back down before it ever hits the 3-second mark. You know, you never know. So that could be why. But if that's the case, I want to drop the temp on some of those down to like 110. So like this should come on at 100 degrees. The cooling fans will come on. So just waiting for that. I'm gonna go hit the bathroom, throw you guys a quick ad. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's see. Alright, so we're at 100 degrees. I bet that kicked in. Let's see. Could be a coincidence. I just came back at 100 degrees. We'll see. So it's still rising. Let's see if everything's on. Where are we at here? Where's my holes? There we go. That is running 51, 51 solid. That's running a true on. So that's fine. Okay. Getting good flow rates. Let's see. We're probably going to overheat here, so I might have to stick that radiator outside. I was hoping not to, but we'll see. I'll see. Sometimes it will stabilize out, but this looks like it wants to keep climbing, so. You know, I probably don't have to lower it very much. See where I'd have to lower it. So here's full speed. Let's check our speed. 8.6, let's say. So there is 7.2. Yeah, so we need a little bit more cooling. It's not terrible. Let's try. Let's see what we want to do. Yeah, if I didn't set it up right, might not do the ads. It doesn't always pop it up to everybody either. It's just a kind of a click button. Let me see. Let's try something here. You wouldn't want your radiator in the water unless it was a water-made heat exchanger. So, like this. So I wouldn't want to stick it under there. It'd be kind of cool. I was kind of thinking it'd be cool to put it on top. Let us see if I can run that. The problem is the way that these walls are. That's kind of a pain to do. Let's see. I think where I could stick that and have it run for me. Yeah, see, like I have the angles of these walls do not make that conducive to doing that. I don't mind a couple like pipes sticking out, but I don't want a ton. See if I have a path that I can go that will allow me to do this here. What about there? No. Can I go up the back? See, the problem is I have to do long runs to get the radiator where I want it. Could go to a 5x5 and it'll probably be fine, and then do a fake one on top. Yeah. And yeah, I think I might do that. Just do more robust cooling and then fake one on top, and that way I don't have to worry about running the pipes, because ideally, you know, I'd run the pipe through here, but you can't run it through. Yeah, see, I can do one of these. I can do one of these XML'd. I can't do two of them XML'd. So I could do exposed piping on some of it. Would look all right. So I could cut. This could be faked here. And then this will work like that. Yeah, I could do it like that and put it up here. I'm going to have to switch to bigger pumps probably to keep the flow rates fine, but that doesn't bother me. I have to go up here. Yeah, so see, all the angles, it's going to have to be exposed somewhere. So, let me see. Not really like thrilled about exposing these pipes here. Yeah, I'm just not thrilled about exposing the pipes here. To do it like an actual exposed radiator. I could do it in the front on the nose. That could look alright. Let's try that for a second. See how I like that. So let's go radiator. Come on. I don't like the look of the electric ones. But this one I do, so we could do a... Seeing if that gives a little bit of interest to the nose. I don't know how I like it. Because it adds something. What I could do is I could inlay it. That might be interesting. Could inlay it like that. That looks interesting. I like that. And then what we'll do is we will cover it and pipe it. So let's try that. The issue is the run is pretty long now, so I have to see what my flow rates are going to look like. If my flow rates are bonk, then I have to just switch up to bigger pumps, which not the end of the world. It's just I prefer to use it this way. So we'll see. I kind of wanted to make it almost like there's no way I can hatch in here. I was gonna say put a hatch in here that I can crawl in. There's no way I'm putting my ass in here, and I have to move my ballast and everything else. So that's certainly not worth doing. I want to put in the new ballast in the back too to ballast it up before I forget. And then this will go... Alright. So that adds some detail. Like, I'm happy to have it exposed as long as it's adding some detail. I kind of like black better anyways. Like, that's kind of cool. I like the detailing of it all. So that's good. I think I'm liking that. That's adding something. I just wanted to add to the build. I don't want it to be like put it in there for a functional reason. It takes away. It's cool if it adds something like this. I think this looks cool. So I think flush mount's better than exposed. And then as I'm driving, I can see it. So that's kind of interesting to me to see it. That's good. All right, and so that's pumped in. I'll have to check the pump rates. So let's go ahead and test this one out. I upshifted too fast, which is doing what it's supposed to do. Is you know, when you upshift too fast, the engine doesn't have enough torque, and so the auto clutch is like, nope. And so that's what happens in real life is you upshift too quickly. I accidentally put in a trim, so I can't shift. So IRL, if you upshift too much or you try to start in too high of a gear, you have to feather the clutch, and the auto clutch is just doing that. It's feathering the clutch for you. I didn't put in the ballast, but I don't think we need it. Alright, we'll let that heat up. I don't know what's up. Some people are having some issues with the challenge rules. Trying to do builds they've already built. Again, the challenge, you know, like I said, I already started this challenge early. The plan was to start it tomorrow. And a bunch of people started building early, which is cheating. So I had two options. I could change the challenge, and all those people who started would now have wasted their time. Or I did what I thought was the better option, which was just start the challenge early. And that's why I did that. I have some people, or I won't say, there are some people who are trying to use previously built builds. That is not fair to your competitors. The point is, as soon as it's like, you know, you say, hey, you know, I know we're doing a race today and the race starts at noon, but could I start running like at 11:55? Is that okay? No. The race starts when the gun goes off. You know, it's not fair to all your other competitors that you started the race 5 minutes before they did. You know, I don't understand why people would think that's okay. You start the time the challenge. So, you know, you can't use previously done builds. You can't, you know, you can use parts, but, you know, if I think a build is like you just put a little window dressing on a previous build, you're getting disqualified. Start a new build. That is the point of the challenge. It's not fair to your fellow competitors who followed the rules if you break them. So, it's very, you know, it's very few people that are doing this, but just keep that in mind, you know. There are a couple of people who want to use previously built builds. No. Use a new build as the rules clearly state. So, just kind of harping on that because apparently I need to harp on these things. So, let's go ahead and check the temp. We're getting there. Alright, where are we at here? 87. So I'm going to check my flow. That shouldn't even be on yet. Yep, so see, it's not on yet. It won't be on until 100. So I'm just checking the chat here. Yeah, I like the storm moves. I like the animals. You know, I understand why some people are annoyed by it because it's something they never will touch, or a lot of people, they didn't buy the DLC and they feel like, oh, you know, I should have everything for free, and the, you know, the game company should just run on wishes and dreams, and that's not how it works either. You know, I think it was kind of scummy that they took some of the animals away for the new system, but it could be because of a new update that are coming. Who knows? Alright, so let's watch our temp. Still rising. I really don't want to go to electric radiator. One way we can fix this is with flow rate, which is those pumps that I didn't want to get into. Yeah, see, our flow rate is like half of what it was because the flow rate's half of what it was because I had to do those long pipes. So, what's my speed at the moment? 16 knots. Alright, so I like that radiator. That's the one I want to use. So what we'll do is we will, I need to put in bigger pumps. Unfortunately. So I'm gonna just do this. Let's go here. I want to check flow rate. Flow rate should be pretty good. Let's go, let's see. Let's go to cooling temp, start at 22. Let's go in here. I don't like using these. Let's see. All right. Start hooking these sausages on the end here. So the reason I do this is these, there's no flow rate difference on the cooling manifold if you add a bunch of these manifolds. But if you did the same length in pipes, you're going to get a reduction in flow. So this keeps your flow the same, even though they're long, you know. So this way it allows it so that you get the flow rate of the pipes. You don't have to worry about the... So this allows your cooling to work better because the cooling manifold being all the way out here, where the hell is it? If I can find it. Oh my God, there it is. This is the distance right here is the pipe distance. It doesn't matter how far that is, so this will be really efficient. And I need to go down one on that. Okay. I was hoping not to have to use these pumps. There's nothing wrong with them. They're more efficient. I like using that little belt-driven thing. It's the way it would really be done. You know, so I just prefer it. If I can't do it, I can't do it. So I kind of have to move on. So. But I need it to work at the end of the day, so that's what it will do. Alright, so that will loop. And then what I need to do is just come in here. That will actually give me a space on this panel, so I just use the radiator node, hooks there. Nope, that doesn't hook there. What is that? Brakes. Yeah, that would have been fun. Putting the brakes on when the cooling comes on. Right there. Alright. So that's going to run. I have that set up so it should run instantly. So it should run at ambient temperature. And then I'm going to check it, check the flow rate. Why are you false? Temperature really not where it's supposed to be? Okay, let's go in here. Let's go to temperature 0, spawn. Now that should run. Give it a second to try to stabilize. See if it stabilizes here. I'll sit here a second, see if it stabilizes. All right, let's check it. Still answering challenge question. Okay, so we stabilized. So you gotta make sure you wait a second. Some people will quickly look and say, "Oh, it's screwed up and I can't get the cooling to work." Give it a second. It took a second, but now you notice we have stable flow rates. And so the highest we get with that belt-driven pump was like 52. That's about the best you can do. These are 64, 64. These are good. And so this should cool us. That has much better flow rate. The better, the more stable your flow rate, the better the cooling you're going to get. So let's try that. Yeah, I've never, you know, part of it's me being a contrarian, you know, because you'll get this commentary that it kind of annoys me is people will be like, oh, the only way you can cool is with electric radiators, or the best way you can cool is with electric radiators. True. Are they the best or the most efficient? Yeah, but can you do without them? Sure. You know, and I just don't like the way they look. They don't look very good. So I'm not a huge fan of how they look. Like in certain cases, it's nice seeing the fan move. That's kind of a nice little thing. Also, if I can prevent having to use any electric draw, I do that. So for example, I like to use this radiator because it doesn't draw any electricity. So my ideal situation is use the belt-driven pump and use this radiator or use some other type of cooling system that does not have an electrical component. That means that I'm going to have less electrical draw, which means my alternator doesn't have to do as much work, which means that I have less draw off the engine. So, you know, these are all reasons why I prefer that. Plus, it's a challenge for me. You know, if I throw a 5x5 radiator in there, yeah, we'll pretty much cool anything anytime. And so I'm not a huge fan of just jumping to that. I'd rather, you know, get it, kind of engineer it, make it work right, you know, so that's kind of my thought process. Alright, so it should raise temperature and then it should level off. It's already started, but it will level off later, so we'll see. I think it's running at 20, I don't know what it's up to. It's probably 20 RPS or greater here, so it's a little bit on the high end. You can hear it screaming, but we'll see. So we're getting good flow rates, still consistent, 64, 64. I like with the top hatch, I can kind of move around. Like, even if the back, even if it wasn't waterlogged, I couldn't get up here while we're underway. So, like, for example, let's say I do a rescue and I stop us. Even if I go at the back, I'd end up in the drinky poo. This way I can try to, like, jump over to there, so that's interesting. I haven't got, once if this heat test passed, I'll stick on some wind to test it. I just want to see if we're going to be alright on heating first. We're coming up there. So this started the pumps instantly instead of at, you know, the desired temp. I'll just change it to desired temp. So let's see. Yeah, I'm a little split on, I'm trying to answer some questions. This is why I didn't want Foxtrot going out till the weekend, that was the plan, was to be ready for it. So I won't be showing any sort of my build tests again for the challenges. It's just people start building early, you know. So A little bit frustrating doing that, but whatever. Yeah, I'll throw on a wind test after this, so we'll see if this stabilizes. Usually we'll climb up over 100, then it'll start to stabilize, even if your pump's going all the time. But we'll see if this wants to be annoying and keep heating or not. If it is, I have some other things we can do to try to cool it down. The other thing, too, is my builds don't catch on fire usually because a condition of the PIDs that run the engine is that the temperature has to be below, say, 115. And so if they hit, say, 114, I might do it at 114. If they hit 114, the PID will shut off, and that will kill the engine. And it will kill it for a second, so it'll go womp, 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 womp. And it'll make it so that it can't overheat. Still overheat. Throw some wind on. I want to see how hot it gets. So it doesn't even have that ballast, and it seems to be doing pretty well. So it's going to have that ballast, and that will help it. So one of the things, like somebody put a post on Reddit, it was a very large ship, and it was doing backflips in the water in 100% wind. And they go, is this normal? And people goes, yeah, Stormworks physics sucks. It doesn't. Their understanding of engineering, their understanding of physics is not perfect. The issue is this. If you set your system up right, the propeller is going to be at the max RPS. So when we're in the water, notice when my propeller comes out of the water, you don't hear the engine rev up. One, my propeller doesn't come out of the water very regularly. You see it come out a little bit there, maybe. But one thing is they don't build their vehicle so that the propeller stays in the water. When the propeller is in the water, it has the resistance of the water. So the engine is trying to bench press, right? It's trying to bench press a lot of weight. So if the engine can't, if the engine's trying to bench press a lot of weight, you might say to somebody who's doing a bench press, hey, I want you to give me 20 reps per minute, okay? And they can give you, and they say, listen, I'm not strong enough, I can give you 10 reps per minute, okay? So they're bench pressing, they can give you 10 reps per minute. That's the propeller in the water, okay, is doing 10 bench presses per minute. Then what happens is the propeller comes out of the water. What that is doing is that's reducing resistance. And so what that is like is somebody came over and they pulled all the weight off the bar. Now they say, okay, there's no weight on the bar, now do 20 reps per minute. The whole time they were trying to do 20 reps per minute, but because there was a lot of weight in the bar, they could only do 10 reps per minute. All right, now what happens is the weights came off the bar. Well, now guess what? They immediately can do 20 reps because there's no weight in the bar. And so what's happening is people are missetting their RPS in games so that what happens is they're saying, hey, I want my engine to go 35 RPS, okay? So they set their max RPS to 35. And because of the resistance of their propeller, they'll never get close to 35 RPS. Let's say they get to 15 RPS, and then the engine, like the weightlifter, they're not strong enough to do 35 reps per minute. They're only strong enough to do 10. We'll keep it 20 and 10, so the number's the same. So they're not able to do 20 reps per minute with weight on, but they can do it with weight off. So what happens is when you jump out of the water here on a wave, now that's like the weight's coming off the bar. Well, now guess what? You instantly shoot up to 20 reps per minute. And so the vehicle is going the speed at which 10 reps per minute would take you. So their propeller is going 10 RPS. And so, because they're in the water. And so as soon as they come out of the water, well, guess what? The propeller is now going twice as fast. And then the boat crashes back into the water. Well, what happens? All that extra power of the propeller gets pushed in as thrust, and the boat does a backflip. And they say, the game sucks, the physics sucks. No, their understanding sucks. And for good reason. I'm not picking on people who don't know these things. You got to learn them. But it's not the game's fault generally. It is generally an engineering problem. And the cool thing about that is, guess what? You can learn how to fix it. And that's what I find enjoyable. And it's one of the reasons I do this. And so why do my vehicles not do backflips in the water? Why can I jump out of the water like this and it doesn't rev the engine up? Well, guess what? The RPS is set so that my engine will only rev up to where it's supposed to be. So, for example, let's talk about the weightlifter again. The maximum that weightlifter can bench press is 10 reps, we'll say per second because we're in RPS. So the weightlifter can lift the bar and, do bench presses 10 RPS with weight on. Well, guess what? We're always going to be in the water. We always want to plan to be in the water if we're a boat. And so what you do is you wouldn't set your maximum RPS to 20 like they were asking. What you would say is that you would ask the weightlifter, how many reps per minute can you do, or reps per second, with a bar full of weight? And they say 10. Okay, so guess where you put your maximum RPS? 10. And so what's going to happen is when the boat is in the water, guess what that propeller's doing? 10. When the boat comes out of the water, guess what that propeller's doing? 10. So when the boat jumps out of the water, you don't hear the engine scream because guess what? You're doing the exact same RPS you can always do. And so when the boat comes crashing down back in the water, the boat in this case, is moving at 10 RPS worth of speed, and the propeller's moving at 10 RPS, and when it goes back in the water, it doesn't do a backflip. It just keeps moving on like it was nothing. And that's where people are having a problem is you need to set up your boats so that when they come out of the water, the propeller is not zooming up. If you hear the engine rev up, that means your RPS is set too high. You need to set it to where it is. So what you do is it's really simple. You would look at this and you'd say, okay, I don't know what my propeller is. I can't see my propeller. But you would see, what is the RPS of my engine when I'm in the water? Okay, it's 10 RPS. Okay, guess what my maximum set is going to be? 10. Easy. So that's like, you see a lot of people doing backflips. Like when we did the Build Challenge, what was it, Bravo? Build Challenge Bravo was the tanker one, I think. You saw some people, when the boat came out of the water, it started doing backflips. Very easy fix. You look, okay, we do 10 RPS, our engine's doing 10 RPS in the water. I set a maximum of 10 RPS so that it only ever goes to its maximum allowable, and then it comes out of the water. The propeller doesn't over-accelerate and then come crashing down the water and make you do a backflip. That's it. Really simple. All right, so what's this, 25% wind? Let's crank it up. So my engine revved up a little bit there. Not terrible. So that's going into the wind, 100%. But you notice it always rights itself because it has that real nice low center of gravity. So that keeps it. That's another thing is, a bunch of people have been blaming the game lately and some of the, on Reddit and on Steam, and saying the game sucks. When it's not that, it's they just don't understand the concept, and that's fine. We're all born not knowing any of these things. You can learn them, and if you learn them, guess what? You're good to go. And so the thing of it is this, they will say, oh, the game sucks because my boats always roll over. Well, guess what? If you designed it properly, it wouldn't do that, and so you have to learn, how do I design it properly? So instead of blaming the game, saying the game sucks, say, hey, my boat keeps rolling over. How would I fix that? And the answer is pretty simple. Why does this, watch, this rolls over and it fixes itself. Why does it fix itself? Because the center of gravity is below the water line. So, like a pendulum, it always wants to go down to gravity. And so every time this flips in this 100% wind, it always rights itself because there's weight. And I'm actually going to add more weight. So for example, the other test I was doing earlier was, what's our temp here? Our temp is way over, right? Temp's way over. All right, it's not that much over, so we'll do some cooling. But, so that's kind of answering some of those engineering problems. So like another thing I had here was, let's put it in. I need to put the ballast back in. So if you remember, I had some weight in the bottom here. So let's do battle cannon. And I had 3 aside, so let's go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that added 240 weight right to the center. If you look, that's where our center of gravity is, right? So because the center of gravity is around the water line, this always wants to right itself. Now I just deleted that weight. Here, I deleted all the weight. So that's where our test was. Notice the water is right, the center of gravity is right on the water line. So this is a little less tippy than I'd like. So what I do is, now I have 240 mass extra there. It's even less. Let's go one more. There we go. And now notice the center of gravity is even lower. Let's go even lower. Why not? Let's go there. All right. And so what this has done is my center of gravity is now lower. And so what's going to happen is this is going to make it even more likely to stay upright. And if we saw the video yesterday when I was building this, I had a couple times when it tipped over. I had a couple times where this tipped over when I was doing some drifting. It won't do that anymore. And that's because of center of gravity. The center of gravity is so low that that top section cannot pull this over. If you see, if you see a bunch of SUVs were doing rollovers, that's because their center of gravity is too high. I'm going to hit that. But you notice it doesn't want to tip over. You know, it will drift fine. Even though it's a big vehicle, it does barely tips. And that's, again, the center of gravity being nice and low. It wants to stay down. And so, again, it's a problem that you can solve with engineering. You know, people who are complaining about that, my boat always tips over. It's an engineering problem. You can solve it. And the great thing about that is there is a way to fix it. You just have to understand the concepts. And so, you know, kind of that's been bugging me. A couple people, you know, were saying how the game sucks because of XYZ, and it wasn't that. It's not because the game sucks. It's because they just didn't understand it, and that's perfectly fine. You just kind of, you know, you need to understand it to be able to fix it, and that was kind of the issue. So one thought I had was, let's do this. I don't know if I want to raise these up or not. I might raise this line up at some point. Let's fix this cooling issue if I can get it fixed. We can't go too much bigger. I don't want a 5x5. I really don't want to put a 5x5 in there. It just looks so ugly. Let's look. I hate the way it looks. I really do. That would work 100%, but I hate the way it looks. I like this. We're close on cooling. We really are. We're not that far off on where we need to cool. Okay, so I've already given up and gone with pumps. So if we're going to go with pumps anyways, let's try to see if I can pump towards the top here. The problem we have is still this problem we had before, is that I can't get them up there without this area here is what caused me the problem. I can't come straight up there is the issue. I like this radiator though. I like the look of that. We'll leave that there. I need a little bit of cooling. I don't need too much. So let's put an over temp protection system. Not yet. I want to fix the cooling before we do an over temp protection. Let me see. There's no way I can put it in here with these 2x4s in there. Let's do this. What are those? Those 3 wides? They are 3 wides. Okay. 1, 2, 3 would have to be here. That would ruin the line here. I'm not thrilled with that. 1, 2. Let's try something here. Let us try something here. I might not like this, but let's try it. I need better cooling, but I also don't want to ruin any of the look, so I have to kind of keep that in mind. See if I can do this get this to cool and look the part as well. You know, I could put in a water cooling system as well. I'd really rather not. You know, it's going to be the hottest in the water because you're constantly at that high RPS. I really like the way the nose would look, and if I can't improve the nose, don't want to do this. Let's see how this looks. This hopefully buy me a little space to put in radiators, but we'll see. If I can't improve the look of the nose, then I want to come up with something else. All right, so this would be, let's paint it, and I want to see the difference. So, get everybody's opinion on what they think. This adds a little bit more depth to the nose, I think. Squares it a little bit. Let's see. That is the proposal. And that is the old one. So that's the old one. Let's take a picture here of the nose. All right, and then this is the new one. There's not really all that much difference. So let's take a picture of this. And I'll put them side by side and see what they look like here. Because, you know, like I've said before, you get really close to a build and then you know, you see it and then you kind of step away from it. And they're not all that, you know, kind of, oh, come on, dude. Click the right button. There we go. I don't know, man. I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the picture. You guys can see it, but they're not. Goddamn. Why is this not doing what I want? There we go. I'll bring up the picture of what I'm looking at. You guys can see. All right, so this is what I'm looking at here. So this is the old nose. I might even like this one. Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm liking I think I like the old one better. Yeah. I like the old one better, so I don't want to screw with it. I'll figure out another way to cool this up. So let's go back. We don't need much cooling, that's the thing. So let's try doing this. We're already to the point where we are, I'm having to add pumps. I don't think it's going to use up that much electricity. So let's try something here. We have a 3x space here. Not really. Right there. Okay, let's grab a couple more radiators. How did the P key get pressed? I never turned that on. This becomes really space cumbersome here. Comes messy on space here. Let's see. Trying to find a way to route to the top. Because I don't mind putting an electric radiator up there or another radiator up there. It's routing here is what's sucking. But I could do it here maybe. Go up here. I need to find where the where it is. Right here would be, we could cool here. Okay. So let's talk about there. That's a 1x4. That's a problem. Okay. Have to be there. Okay. I don't mind a little bit of exposed pipe. I just don't want it too much. So. That's all wheel well in there. Okay, so that's fine. We'll go across the floor. I can't imagine I'm going to do much with the floor here. So. That is. Can I? What's there? All right, so I can run to here. All right. See where we're at. All right. Problem is these runs are so long that I definitely need those electric pumps to pump quite a bit to get me there. So I don't mind a little bit of exposed pipe. I can kind of integrate it in the look a little bit, but I don't want a ton of it. Like that I can deal with, like something like that. Ugh. Yeah, the height isn't great where it is. Yeah, I don't want the pipe sticking out. That's the issue. What we're going to do is this. I'm going to limit it so that it... All right, we're going to do this. We're going to just accept a little bit of a slower... We're losing literally like 2 knots of speed to have our heat under control and not make this look ugly. So that's worth it. So what we're going to do here is 6 is a condition. And then we want to do... so what we'll do here is if 6 is... actually, just grab this here. Yeah, that was fine. So we'll do less. We'll grab a less then. And I'll pull less off of 3. And then we will do this. Where are we at? Let's do a simple AND block. I don't think I need more than that. And so we'll go and. So if we turn on the engine and the temperature is less than what I set, that's going to allow all the pits to turn on. If this doesn't happen, it is going to shut us down. That one, the starter doesn't need to be there. What are you? You are alternator. Okay, so all I need is this. So that needs to go through this condition here, and then I need to set this in. So this is the overheat protection limit. All right, so at 111 degrees, it is going to not let the PID keep running. So what it will do is the engine will go on, and it will go, wow, wow, wow. It will just reduce it, and then I'll have to reduce it. And then what I'll do is a not. That's not going to work there. Okay. That will work. All right, so that's overheat protection there. And then like a normal person, like in most applications IRL, you have to reduce your power so you don't overheat. You know, for example, in an airplane, like for example, if you're flying an Embraer 145, we don't take off at max power because it will ruin the engines. We can, but it's not what you do. When you get up to, as soon as you get hit 200 feet, you do select speed 200 and you go to climb mode. And the reason you do that is not to overstress your engines. If you're in a Piper Navajo, you do not take off with full power. You would take off with less than full, like say 95% power, so you don't overstress and overheat your engines. It is normal for you to bring them back. So we'll just manually bring them back. And then we have an overheat protection. That will keep the engine from exploding. So that's all you need to do is if the temperature is less than that, it will allow the engine PID to run. If not, it will shut it down. So I have the cooling set up the way I want it and the way I want it to look. I don't want to sacrifice it for 2 knots of speed is all we're getting. So I'm trying to like overdo this for 2 knots of speed. It's not worth it to me. And only in the water. I doubt this has any heating problems on the land because, you know, you'll probably be at full throttle for a bunch of it, but not all of it. So we'll go with the simple solution, simple, safe. So we'll do that. All right, good. This is steering controller. That can go underneath. Start putting some microcontrollers away. And I want to get some more of this interior. It's running well. It's just, you know, things aren't exactly the way I want them, but it's running well. So I don't want to upset all that to gain 2 knots. You know, it's kind of that point we all get to where we're like stressing over the one thing. And it really makes such a small difference that it's like just accept the 2 knot, you know, change that you're going to be getting to be able to have the vehicle run exactly how you want in every other way. So check the wheel. Well, I can't see where that last panel. Okay, last panel's right here. And so this will give me a little bit more buoyancy just because it's, you know, this will put more air volume in there and be lighter. All right, good. Those are in. So yeah. So I just kind of had to get to the point where I'm just like, yep. Stop stressing over this tiny little thing. Move on. And we'll be good. So. You know, I could engineer some complex nonsense for that tiny little situation that I'm going to need to lose 2 knots for. But you saw, like, I took the throttle back, we lost 2 knots, and we were maintaining a cold temp. So might as well just stick with that instead of trying to reinvent the wheel for no reason. All right. So is anybody interested in Starfield? That's coming out next month. I'm interested in that. That'll be fun. Usually that's not my type of game. I really don't care about the story, so that doesn't interest me all that much. But we'll leave this one here. This one's fine. This one, but that's really interests me. Now, I was interested in Star System, but Star System just annoys me at this point, and so I am interested in Starfield. You know, the main thing for me in those types of games, I want to operate the vehicle, and you kind of lose that with that game. Like, it lands for you, which isn't great, but you know, the rest of it seems interesting. You know, that's the only thing that kind of keeps me holding on for Star Citizen. But the Star Citizen devs are screwing up the flying mechanics, and as somebody who's, you know, flown really complicated craft and operated complicated craft, I want a good flight experience, and they just do not know how to do it, and it just frustrates me. Let's put it in somewhere else. So let's go for a little drivey poo. And so yeah, this came up on Big Man's Challenge. Some people were using my steering controller, and the issue they're running into is it was limiting their turning. So there's 2 ways you can correct that. One, you can increase the sensitivity on the seat. But if your p-value is still too low, it's still not going to allow you to get up to that value. So you can start by increasing the sensitivity on the seat. Think of that as how fast, you see how fast the wheels turn? That's sensitivity on the seat. And then the p-value is essentially allowing, you know, how far you can go left, right. And so you have to do it as a combination. So for example, this has a p-value of a 1. My Big Man car has a p-value of 0.25. It's a small car. It can change direction very quickly. This is big and heavy. It doesn't want to change direction quickly, so this can have a higher p-value than that. So this has a p-value of 1 and a steering sensitivity of, say, 15, where the car has a 25 steering sensitivity and a lower p-value. I do not have a name for the Amphib yet there, Sander. Glad you like it. I'm going to come up with something, probably be, so I've been doing animals lately. For my larger stuff, I tend to do, not necessarily large stuff, but I do a lot of Greek gods too. So like, last career build series was Virgil. Virgil's is a god. It was like a mariner's god, you know, for you know, they would propitiate towards for, you know, so they didn't sink. Triton is a sea god. Then now I'm doing more animal stuff. So like we have the donkey, the night owl, the albatross. So this could be something like, you know, be an amphibious thing like a frog. So this could be some sort of frog. Cayman would be good. Croc, you know. So I have to hand draw it. So it'd be hand drawn in there somewhere. So a couple good ideas there, but I'll think about it and see what I can hand draw. All right, so let's see what we can do for temp here. So we'll let this increase on temp. The pumps have been going the whole time. I haven't changed that back yet. I need to do a controller for this door. You know, the other thing I could do for temperature control is I could... What are we doing speed-wise? 16 knots. So if you hear my engine, it's screaming, right? So there's two things I can do. One, I could increase the gear ratio to the propeller, and that would put more load on it and would drag it down. That's something I could do. Now we do run into the problem of what I was just talking about is when it comes out of the water, it unloads it. It's going to spin the propeller up, and that's going to cause it to potentially get a kick of thrust when we come out of the water. You know, so I have to be careful of that. So that's the reason I don't do that. But we'll see. That's a thought. But again, I'm probably going to lose 2 knots at most when that overheat kicks in. I'll just manually correct it. Let me check chat over there. Oh yes, I think timeline misread is Phil. Makes a good point. If you're participating in the challenge, make sure you back up your vehicles folder before the update tomorrow. It can happen sometimes when the devs do an update, they can break something. Tomorrow's update should be a content update, so I would recommend do a vehicle save. You know, that way, you know, if they break something, you have a copy. I try to do a vehicle folder update every couple days. You know, it's tends to be a smart thing to do. You know, you don't want to lose all your vehicles. You know, a lot can be, you know, like you lose your save, it's not a big deal. Like it literally took me 10 minutes to redo a career build series save. You know, of course my fuel wasn't where it was supposed to be, and it took a little bit longer. So let's say an hour at most. It's not completely devastating. Losing all your vehicles would be. I have like 28 vehicle folders at least saved on a portable hard drive, and I try to update every couple days. You know, so definitely don't want to lose all your stuff. Now, Red and City Craft, yeah, could do that. I like to have them as like little mascots on my screen. That tends to be what I do with them. All right, so we're coming up to 99 degrees here. The pumps have been on the whole time. So what it's going to do is the condition for that PID to run is I have to have the 6 key on in this case, so my ignition, whatever I want to use. And I also need to have the temperature be below, what did I set it to, 111? And so if it goes over 111, it's going to kill that PID for a second, for a fraction of a second, because the temp's going to come right back down. And so it's going to go wow, 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 and that will protect me. So like if I go AFK, I don't come back to a smoldering heap. And so I recommend people put that system in. That's what you'd have in real life, right? What's your car do when it overheats? Shuts off. And people will sit there and they'll crank and crank and crank and crank and crank and try to start it. And guess what? The car won't start because it's overheated. Let it cool down. All right, so we're waiting on a 111 here. I know some guys are going to get an ad here in a second. So at 111, we should get a interruption of the PID for a fraction. And we're at, let's check our speed really quick, 8.3. Here we go. We're going to get the interruption. So see, that's all it is. So you notice how it automatically puts us at the max speed, max setup. So I could screw with it, or I could leave it like this. Now, our speed probably took quite a hit. We're down about half. But what I could do is the thing that's anathema to most in Stormworks. Instead of being at 1, let's go down to 0.9. And we'll wait. We'll see. Give it a couple seconds to cool down. All right, we'll go a little bit lower than that. Let's go down to 0.8. All right, we'll go down a little lower. All right, now we're not overheating anymore. We're losing temp, and the interrupt stops going on. So we'll go up a little bit. But you notice that protects us from destroying our craft, so slower than I would like. Definitely want to see. I might do I could do water cool. I really don't want to. You know what I could do? I could do a heat. I wouldn't mind a heat sink on the bottom. That would make sense to me. So I might do a heat sink on the bottom, because a radiator wouldn't look right under the bottom, but a heat sink would. So I might heat sink the bottom. Yeah, let's do that. So you notice we're still running about 10 knots. We lost a bunch of speed, but that system protects us here. If I go to full throttle again, can I overheat? No. See? As soon as it hits the cap, and so you see how accurate it is? It lets me get to like 11 point, what was it, 11.08? So you could run this all the way up to like 114 and it wouldn't probably overheat. Heatsink works well for boats. That's what you'd actually really have in real life. They use pipes. So they have pipes under the hull, and it runs water through them and cycles it, and you know the pipe exchanges heat with the water around it. So the heat sinks work pretty well. You know, and they're also thematically correct for boats. That's why, you know, that's a big thing for me, is I want them to be correct for what they should be. But, you know, I know a lot of people don't really care about that too much. So they're not too bad. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? Right here. So it looks like it's going to fit where I need it to as well. So if we look here, those are my panels, and so the heatsink will fit in the middle. So let's heatsink this like that. That's cutting some space. Let's see where I can put them. I might move the panels, and I want to recess it. So let me see. I might move those microcontrollers. Let's double heatsink. Where are we going to be if we double heatsink there? If we do it up here, so here, let me cut where I can go. There to there, and let's move those panels. We have plenty of place for panels, so I'm not really worried about them. Let's just get them out of here for now, and I will work on these microcontrollers where they're going to go later. Because we have plenty of space. We have space all over. This thing's not small, so that's the other thing that was nice about the Big Man Challenge, is when you have a small build, you have a space constraint. And so that's why I'll often put a lot of space constraints in my challenges. Is it's a challenge to build small sometimes, and so it's kind of fun to do that when you, and then when you go back to building big, it's such a piece of cake, because you know you don't really have to worry about hiding micros or doing anything else. It's cake money. So we'll recess these. All right. And you want these exposed to the outside. That will help. Okay, I'm 1 too forward here. Cut that. Cut you. Move you up 1. Right. So yeah, I want to try to keep this. I need to go 2 forward. Eventually, I'll figure out what the hell I'm doing here. Yeah, that's fine. That will look all right with the I won't be able to really see it anyway with the wheel arch. Let me see if that fits where I need to go. That does do it right there. Okay. That does it right there. I don't want it sticking down, especially if it's going to be an off-road vehicle, and I don't want to hit that as I'm coming out and bash them. All right, so we'll go there. And then we will, we can pump through here. So where's my pump here? And how many spaces up? Do we have 3s? I think we have 3 space here. Nope, we have 2s. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. How wide are these heat sinks? What are they, 5s? That's 5 there. Let's do them sideways. Yep. I measure them wrong? I must have measured them wrong. 1, 2, 3. No, 5. I just measured the hull wrong. Let's try something here. All right, so let's check the wheel well and make sure that looks all right. That looks fine. We're not going to be able to see that. It's close enough in color. That's not bad. And then I have to move my ballast, which isn't the end of the world. These should be flipped. Ugh, annoying. Let's go. Okay. So in the vegetable fermenting news, it's going well so far. No, no disaster to report. We'll screw with ballast again in a second. I can put them somewhere else, or I can move them in. So this here is fine. We can fix that later. All right, so I need to be able to get these pipes, these pumps. So let's go there, and then I need to route some pumping. So what we'll do is we'll go. What are you? Okay, perfect. So let's go like this. Symmetry's on mercifully. Okay, good. So this should work here. Yeah, so it was cutting my speed down. I thought I'd lose 2 knots. I ended up cutting way too much speed down. I wasn't happy with that, so. Just too much. I could try running single pumps on this. I don't know how well single pumps are going to run. That's the problem. Let's see if single pumps are going to be is not going to be enough. We don't need that much cooling, I don't think. So let's test it. So I'll be there. Okay, let's go. Trying to see spatially where I need to go here. So. All right, I got a better idea here, so let's go. Trying to keep the shorter the run on the pumps, the more flow rate you're gonna get. We'll go like this, and then what I'll do is, nope, can't do that. Crap. I should have known that. We'll go. I had an idea what I want to do here. Let's go there. All right. Okay. So these should cool, like, I think air cooling, that one radiator should be fine for, like, when we're driving around, because we're going to be revving up, revving down. There's so many bumps, you have to slow down. Every time you slow down, you're getting, you know, you're losing some heat as you're, you know, when you're in a boat, you're constantly at max thrust. Same with the plane. You know, the heating is more of a challenge. So that is now hooking those up there. So we're going to pump up and through. Let's give this a quick testeronies here. I want to check flow rate, so I'm just going to go above them, and I want to cut the right there, and then I want to run these to the radiator. The radiator still should come on as soon as we turn the sucker on here. Let's see. You have a 3 buys. Okay, let's go ahead and just grab this. Cut you. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that panel. Come on, give me the thing, scoundrel. All right, spawn that. And these should be pumping already, so let's check them, see what the flow rates are. 35, 35, not great. We'd have a higher flow rate if we had 2 pumps. Let's see if they stabilize. They got to be stable. If they're oscillating like that, we're not getting good flows. So see if they stabilize. Let's make sure the front's not having problems. This could be running out. We could be running not enough water. Crap. Might be not running enough water. Could be running into low water issues, running that much water through there. Let's try something, see if I can't boost them up. Being finicky today. If we're running out of water, we're going to need to add it. If it's... This will cut flow rate to a certain extent, so we have to check it. Really being finicky. Really is. Because those heat exchangers are quite large and they use up a lot of water that's in the system. Alright, so that's really ugly there. Right, I want to try something different here. Okay, it really does not like that. It's hating that with a passion, so. It does not like at all. So let's go zing, 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 zing. Now let's do this. Let's go. What's under here? Nothing? Okay. What we're going to do is flush mount another radiator directly under here, I think. I have to... No, that's not going to fit like that. Can we run a single heat sink? See if a single heat sink is going to suck up all the water. Let's quickly spawn this. Just double check our flow rates are good with that radiator again, because they should be. Let's see if this oscillation stops. Just waiting for this oscillation to see if it stops. All right, so it looks like sometimes it gets screwed up when you do that, so you have to go delete a bunch of crap. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a break. My friend's asking if I want to play Tarkov. So I think I'm going to take a break and do Tarkov. If you do have an issue with that cooling like that, what you can do often is actually go back and you can actually go back and just delete the radiators out, put them back in, see if it fixed the flow rate. So we'll do that really quick. Because I disturbed it by putting all that extra crap on there. Let's see if this fixes it. So sometimes you have to just go back and change it all out again. Hopefully I don't have to do that. Let's see if this runs. Because we were getting stable flow rates for a while there. Make sure the microcontrollers are pasted, because that would shut them off. Start this engine, see if I can get it to run. Sometimes if the engine's not running, it doesn't want to work right, so start that up. Alright, so I'm going to work on this later. I'm going to go ahead and I'll jump in Tarkov. And if you guys want to watch Tarkov, I'll be in there. If not, I will see you guys later. But thank you guys for watching the stream. It's good to see everybody. If you have any questions, issues with the build challenge, go ahead and check that out. Foxtrot rules are closing. Let me see. I believe tonight. Let me check really quick. Yep, it will be midnight tonight. Rule changes are gone, so I need anyone, if you have any questions with that, get those going. So people are trying to build some large stuff. Again, none of the pictures I showed are large. So keep that in mind. There's a reason why there's a 100,000 limit. That's part of the size. You make it too big, it's going to be expensive. So you may want to build something like a picture that I put on there, or like maybe look at the Wikipedia for landing craft, see what they look like. There are large landing craft, but again, you're not moving the world, you're moving one pickup truck. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.